Seven, six, five, four, three, two, one.
It is now time for the Pony Keg Sports Podcast with your host, Josh Stevens and Tom Schultz. Woo!
Oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey. Me and Tom are here to break down the last week of the playoffs. And what a good round that one was. We had Tom versus Justin, and a lot of people thought Justin was going to win that one, and it looked like Justin was going to run away with it, and then the rest of his team decides to shit on him, and kind of sucks for him.
Yeah, like halftime of the noon games, the score was like 18-16. It was extremely ugly. No one was really doing anything. And DeMarco Murray kept getting his touchdowns vultured by Jerry's own Derrick Henry.
Yeah, that's true. I don't care what anybody says. I can keep saying over and over again the trade Jerry made was good. It's not. It doesn't matter. One game that, Henry vultures 2 touchdowns or whatever, it happens. Maybe that it will be his role from here on out. Who is the running back that used to vulture touchdowns all the time? Trying to think of the team. I can't remember. There was somebody that was notorious for it. I can't remember. Marion Barber, right? For the Cowboys.
Yeah, he would.
He would be the one when he was on the Cowboys. That kind of reminds me of what the situation is, which would kind of suck for Justin and any DeMarco Murray owner at all. The other matchup, we had Spencer versus Tim. Brandon Cooks decided to blow up. And, it is what it is. Spencer, I think, got lucky this week. I think he blew his load this week. And next week, it may not be looking good for him.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, too. Cooks, it was a huge game. We were both down on him, and he drops a 30-burger. Not really much you can do when you got a wide receiver scoring over 30 points in a standard league. Most likely you're going to lose. And Tim had one chance on Monday Night Football, and Jordan Reed decided to be a pro boxer and start punching helmets.
Yeah,
freaking idiot.
Yeah, when you're throwing straight rights at helmets and face masks, it's not going very well for you.
It looked like a good punch, but you're punching a fucking helmet. Like, that's stupid.
I don't even think he wears gloves, does he?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't even remember if he does or not. But looking on Tim's side, Jeremy Hill had a good game. Balil Powell had a good game, so it looks like that was the right move in putting Balil Powell in there. Especially with Forte still possibly going to play this week. Any chances it would be Balil Powell, so that was good for him. Antonio Brown kind of put up a stinker if you're in the playoffs. Probably a lot of people are going to be upset with that one. A lot of people were probably rolling with Antonio Brown, obviously, because he is one of the top 3 wide receivers in the game. And then that happens. And then Odell Beckham had an okay game. But, you look at his wide receivers, Odell Beckham, Antonio Brown, and then Rashard Matthews. Even Rashard Matthews had a good game, over 10 points, but then he had the fumble, so it brings him back down to 8.5. But look at Hopkins. Hopkins had 8.7. These 3 wide receivers were known as the 3 most elite wide receivers, and they're all, I don't want to say mediocre right now, but in the playoffs, they're non-existent right now.
Yeah, his receivers were going to need to carry him to victory, and they didn't do it this week, and that's why Tim lost. Majority of weeks when Tim has a huge week, it's because of OBJ and Antonio Brown. Hopkins has been a huge disappointment. Everyone thought he trade raped Jerry in that deal, but you never really know in fantasy football. The only good thing for Hopkins, Tom Savage is quarterback of the Houston Texans. It might help Tim out next week in the 3rd place game, but a little too late.
And then on Spencer's side, he has Aaron Rodgers going for 14.5 points. And then we told him to go with Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor would have been the better play, which would have been kind of funny to see him do. He had a lot of head games going on with himself, not even other people trying to tell him what to do, And then he almost started Tyrod, and it would have been the better play, but it is what it is. But I just did not see Brandon Cooks throwing up 30, and if Brandon Cooks did not throw up 30, then he most likely would have lost, or it would have been a lot closer. I wish Antonio Brown would have came to play and Jordan Reed would have scored at least 15 points, and it would have made it somewhat more competitive.
Yeah, it was a blowout. Reed didn't do anything on Monday, so this game was pretty much over at halftime. I'm not even sure when he got thrown out, but I just remember seeing it and laughing my ass off.
Yeah, and then going to your and Justin's game, Ezekiel Elliott 24.8 points, and then I thought with the Devonta Freeman putting up 31.5, I was like, oh man, Tom may be a little bit nervous.
Really, I wasn't even paying attention to the score. Once Freeman scored his third touchdown, I thought it was over, and I didn't even look at the score till I got home. And I was like, holy crap, I'm actually leading. And then Zeke decided to blow up, so that helped quite a bit. Evans has been in check the last few weeks. That offense isn't force-feeding him the ball anymore. So that's that was a huge hit for Justin in this game.
And then when when the Vikings only score you -1 points, not even a positive one. But the Vikings and their special teams has pretty much led Justin to victory a couple weeks. I mean, you look at the totals, 20 points, 15 points, 25, 13, 22, a lot of games with 8 and 9 points. And then this is the one game that they decided to put up a -1 against Andrew Luck and the Colts.
Yeah, the Colts played almost a perfect game. I thought it was going to be a disaster for the Colts. That's why I benched Luck. I was a little nervous to start T.Y. You got to start your studs. Got lucky with Palmer. He had a decent game, and my defense and kicker put up huge numbers, and that was the difference in this matchup, in all honesty.
So we have you versus Spencer in the Starfish Bowl. Let's go with Justin and Tim. Who do you have winning between Justin and Tim this week coming up in the third and the fourth place game? Looking at the matchups real quick, the score, projected score, is going to be Tim 100 and Justin 106.1. So Justin is a favorite in this game. But Tim does have some favorable matchups, and Justin does as well. Without breaking it down too much, just looking at it.
Just looking at it, I'm going to go with ESPN's projection. They're going with Justin. I think he's going to win this matchup. I like Mariota against Jacksonville. I think they're going to come to play. They need to win this game, so I expect him to have a solid game. It's not going to be -20 like it was last week for him. He struggled in that cold weather. But I think Mike Evans comes to play this week and has a huge game. So I'm going with Justin in this one.
Do you think Justin is going to switch out Emmanuel Sanders or Tyrell Williams for Jarvis Landry because Jarvis Landry had a decent game last week? We know how Justin feels about his Jarvis Landry.
Yeah, if I was Justin, I'd roll with what I have now. It's not the greatest matchup for Emmanuel Sanders, but I think you got to trust him. That KC defense has been torched by receivers in the past. You look at what Rashard Matthews did against him last week. He had a solid game. And I like Tyrell Williams against Cleveland. I know there's rumors that his injuries kind of been hampering him, and he hasn't been playing. He hasn't been a freaking gamer out there lately, but I'd still start him against that crappy Cleveland defense.
So far, Tim has put Matt Forte in over Balil Powell. Would you leave Matt Forte in, or would you put in Powell, even if Forte is healthy?
I'd roll with Powell. I'm nervous about Forte, and I think the New England Patriots are going to get all up in the Jets this weekend. They have a chance to get home field advantage, and if they're getting blown out, they're going to put Powell out there. They're going to be on passing downs all the time. Forte is a good receiver, but it seems like they've been going with Powell the last few weeks, especially with the injury to Forte.
What about the idea of rolling out Terrence West?
I wouldn't.
No?
Nope. I like how Pittsburgh's been playing defensively. And I like Dixon a lot more than West, and Tim doesn't have him.
You look at the Steelers. Their defense let's just do the last 3 games against running backs. Last week they gave up 16.1 to running backs. They gave up 20.6 to running backs the week before. And they gave up 15.1 to running backs the week before that. And you got to remember with Buffalo and Cincy, right now they are dual running back systems. With Buffalo, they have Mike Gillislee, and they have, obviously, LaShawn McCoy. And they both scored in that game, and a lot. And I could see that happening again with Terrence West and Dixon. So I said to start Terrence West last week for him. Turns out that he was okay with Balil Powell and Jeremy Hill.
Yeah.
So this may be a week where we might see him make a switch. We'll see what happens. Just looking at it for me, though, I think Justin's going to win because every time I pick for Tim, he ends up losing. So I feel bad, So I'm just going to go with Justin.
Just jinx him now.
I know, I should, right? Then we're going to go with you and Spencer. Right now, Spencer is projected for 99.7, and you are projected for 110.1. Spencer is obviously the team with the better record, but in overall, I don't think the better team overall, because you have Ezekiel Elliott against Detroit, and you have Le'Veon Bell against Baltimore, and both defenses are pretty decent against the run. Baltimore, for us, is ranked 3rd against the run, and Detroit is 6th against the run. But I'm not really too worried about that, to be honest.
I'm nervous about Baltimore. They held Bell in check the last time they played, and that was Bell's worst performance of the season. But I think he's going to bounce back. He's just been on a roll. Last week he didn't score, but he was still over double digits in fantasy points. And I see him doing that again this week. I like my receivers matchups. A little nervous. I'm not sure if I'm going to start Devontae Adams. Kind of want him in there to limit Rodgers a little bit, but they've struggled against that Minnesota defense in the past, and it might happen again.
Man, Devontae Adams, I'd be so worried to play him just for the fact that he dropped 2 for sure touchdowns, and that would piss me the hell off.
The only thing the only reason I really want to start him, you could look this whole season. Every time he has a crappy game, he follows it up with a pretty big game.
Yeah, it's true.
Last time, he scored 1.7, next week 16.4. He scored 4.2, next week 23.3. He had a 3.4, next week 25. So,
yeah, that is very true with Devontae Adams. He's a very weird player, so there's definitely a chance that he could come back and have a really big game.
And I see Xavier Rhodes shadowing Jordy. He's obviously their number one option.
Yeah.
And they're going to try to shut him down first and foremost.
I'm not going to project a winner because I don't want to jinx the other team or your team.
Just predict someone.
I'm not going to. Every time I pick somebody, I'm not going to do it because so far I predicted everybody against Spencer, and Spencer's won, so I'm not going to do that. And I don't want this to be the first time where I pick Spencer and he actually does win. You understand? So I'm not going to pick a winner. I'm just going to leave it at that. But I think Justin will beat Tim this week. And hopefully that, changes Tim's curse. But good luck to both of you guys this week because it is going to be a very big week. It'll be possibly you being the first 3-time champ, right?
Yep.
And then Spencer, the second or the third 2-time champ?
He'd be the third.
He'd be the third.
Me and Joey both have 2.
Oh, yeah. Joey, the angry person that drinks, is going to be, he's one of those guys.
Don't slap me, bro.
So on top of all that, guys, if you were not at the party, Kevin Long, and Josh Schultz, Josh, you had a legit reason. Kevin, not so much for you. We picked divisions, and we also picked the draft order. Chances are Kevin probably doesn't even know what the draft order is, because I know I didn't tell him. But then also we did do oh man, I don't even have the picture anymore. I have it written down. It's in my pocket.
He's got it on a napkin that's in his wallet.
Oh, wait, that's a receipt. It's somewhere upstairs. All right, so divisions are, if I remember correctly, the first person picked was Alex.
Yep.
The second person picked was Joey.
Yep.
The third person picked was Tom. And the fourth was Danny. All right? So then it went to a snake draft. And then the next person picked was Mike Agent. Kevin Long.
No. I have the picture.
Oh, my bad. Right now I'm just guessing.
All right. The divisions are... God, my fucking phone.
I'm also playing Madden
Alex,
at the same time.
Jerry, and Spencer.
Oh, yeah.
In Division 1.
That's right. Division 1, Alex, Jerry, and Spencer.
Division 2. Joey, Tim, and Josh Stevens.
Yeah. That's going to be a tough decision.
Tough.
That's going to be tough.
Division 3 is myself, Mike, and Kevin. That's going to be really tough as well. Probably the best division, top to bottom in the league.
First off, those two should have gotten
I hit the lottery.
Yeah, you did.
And Division 4 is Danny, Josh Schultz, and Justin. And what Danny said, what did he say about Josh Schultz? It was fucking hilarious. He's like, I stole his girl.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna steal his division or something.
Yeah, I
like that.
stole his girl and I'm going to steal a division, which was hilarious. Yeah, you should have been there because it was funny. And then we also did draft order. And if you guys did not know, Josh Schultz got the number 1 overall pick. Myself got the number 2 overall pick. But then a lot of people forgot that I also had Josh Schultz's pick. So now I got back-to-back 1 and 2 picks. And I don't even know what to do with them.
That might have been the happiest I've ever seen you. Like the grin on your face. You were just so happy.
Yeah.
What'd you have, over a 50% chance?
54% chance.
Yeah, to get the first pick. And then it was just a great freaking selection for you. And now no one can say we cheated.
Yeah.
Because if me and you did that, we would have had 8 people saying we cheated.
Although it did get to one point where Joey he kept pulling names out of the hat. And I think he forgot that he was the one that wrote the names down.
No.
He's like, my name's not in there.
But I counted them.
Oh, you counted them,
And
that's
he's
right.
like, I think Tom took it out. God.
That is right. But yeah, so regardless, I mean, it was a good draft. And then who had number 3? It was Mike.
Mike, then Danny, Kevin, Joey.
That's right. So great draft, great party overall, and it'll be fun to see who wins. Either we're gonna have our first 3-time champ, or we're gonna have our third second-time champ. So yeah, we'll see. Even though I don't think that Spencer's first championship should pretty much qualify because he's a wiener, but that's just me.
Can I make a prediction on the game?
Go ahead.
I'm going to kill Spencer.
Woo! Kill him.
He blew his load last week. He's going to score under 100 points this week. His matchups aren't that great. They're good for running back, but that's about it. Aaron Rodgers against the Vikings sucks. He struggled against Mike Zimmer's defense.
You think he plays Tyrod there then?
He should, but I don't know if he'll have the balls to do that. But I'm going to kill him this week.
Well, yeah, if he didn't have the balls to do it last week, he's probably not going to have the balls to do it this week. I challenge you to start Tyrod this week. Dun, 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 dun.
I hope he doesn't. I hope he starts Rodgers.
Yeah, that's true, too. I would probably want Rodgers.
Or am I just playing mind games with you, Spencer? You never know.
Dance, puppet. But yeah, so regardless, like I said, the draft was great overall. I got the first two overall picks. If you guys are looking at one of the picks, holler at me because they are for trade. I want at least a first-round pick back, and then probably a second-round pick or a first overall pick next year. So the price is high, and rightfully so. Highest rated draft class in a long, long time.
And guys, after this week, once all the playoffs are set, I will have everyone's current up-to-date picks posted on the message board.
There we go.
So everyone will know what they're working with.
All right. That's all we got. We're going to leave it at that. We're not going to bash Spencer like Tim did last week or the week before, because that's not nice.
Well, he is a cat fucker.
Oh, I'm sorry. Spencer bashed Tim. Yeah, you cat fucker.
Did you hear Jerry call him that? That was great.
No, I didn't hear that. That's funny, though. All right, guys. That's all we got. Good luck to everybody this week. See ya.